I never know how to start these.
Hi!
Hello. Welcome back. You've made it back for a third episode. I'm so sorry.
Welcome to Wine, and Once, a Once Upon a Time podcast. I'm Lo.
And I'm Dee. And welcome to a bad time.
Welcome to a bad time. So, if you're new, which you very well might be, every week we watch an episode of Once Upon a Time in chronological order, and we recap it. I can talk. We recap it, and then we have some points of order to go over.
Just a few things. Our running list right now is the family tree, because
Yeah.
it's terrifying. And with every family tree comes, the other side of any relationship. The fuck fern is what I'm
Of
getting at
course.
here. You have the fuck fern. We have the. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that just every romantic entanglement. Let's put it that
There
way.
it is.
That's a kind PG way of saying it.
It's too kind for what this show deserves, but it's a kind way of putting it.
I try so hard.
We're also going to be tracking how many magic beans they use, how many final magic beans, I should say.
Yes.
Right now, that's less of a thing, but it will become one, so just stay tuned. We also have. No, it will never go away once they start on their bean bullshit.
They don't stop.
No, they do not. We will also be taking a deep dive into Emma's superpower and just how much it does not work. Right now, we're at a 50-50 batting average. It will get worse. And last but not least, how many final curses there are. It's quite the list we have.
It's more than one, which is too many final curses.
It's really not good.
The word final has some meaning. Oh, and town-wide curses is what we're really looking at there.
Yes, yeah. Town-wide, everyone's affected.
Pretty much anytime there's a town-wide curse, it's supposed to be the final curse. So
the curse to end all curses, or so we have been told.
It's fine. We just don't know anymore. Before we get started, I think it's really important that we just remind everyone, number one, we are fully deep diving, so that means there are spoilers galore. So if you do not want to be spoiled, if you're watching along with us, please go watch your Once Upon a Time wherever you watch your Once Upon a Time, and then come on back and we'll be here to go over it with you. Or, if you are like me and don't care if you get spoiled for things, hang out. This is a bad time, but we're glad you're here. And then the other thing I wanted to point out is that it's really important to to just understanding the show that we hate this show.
This show is not a good show. I despise this show with every fiber of my being.
Every
week. No, this is not something I look forward to. It's not like, oh, thank God it's Wednesday.
But also, this is my favorite show to watch. We've been watching for 10 years, and we will continue to watch, and that's kind of pathetic, but that's where we're at.
It's true. I do have some other, I guess, announcement things as we're... first thing first is, just as a disclaimer, we are recording these well in advance of this. It's probably early October. I don't know. If all goes according to plan, it's going to be early October by the time you're listening to this one.
We are currently in August.
Yes. We're doing this because we both have really busy Septembers, but we were insistent that no, it aired 10 years ago in September. Once Upon a Time did. Our podcast also needs to air in September.
We are nothing if not nerds.
Exactly. So that said, if you guys are commenting about things you want to do differently, or if there's audio issues, those changes won't be coming for a while because these are all pre-recorded. We will be listening and paying attention to what you all are saying. There just may not be any action for some time until we get caught up to recording on a week-by-week cadence.
Be patient with us, please.
Exactly. And we realized we've never actually officially shared our social media handles. They've been in the descriptions every week. But our Twitter is wine. This is going to be confusing because there's two wines. Wine is in the drink first. It's wine, wine once. Our Instagram, same order, wine, wine, and once. And email, wine, wine, and once @gmail.com. And again, those will be in our description. But yeah, follow us. See what weird shit we do.
Come on over. Bug us. Annoy us. Not too hard.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll just be annoying each other all week. And what's the fun in that? We already do that.
It's somebody else's turn to annoy us.
It's
You won't be
true.
annoying us. We'll be super excited to hear from you.
It's true. We want to hear from the winesters. I know I coined that. I still get angry saying winesters. It's really not good.
I'm so mad about it. It's brilliant, but I'm so mad about it.
It's not good. But on that note, I'm not drinking wine. This time, I swear to God, it is the last of the seltzers. I checked this time. This is the last one. It's not going to be like a Pascal situation.
I think that if you want to know about the Pascal situation, come back next week for our resident Ella-ologist.
No, that's actually a good point. Our really good friend and resident Ella-ologist is joining for next week's episode. To find out what an Ella-ologist is, you'll just have to come and see.
And find out about the Pascal situation, which will be funny to 3 people. And we are the 3.
Yes. Absolutely, yes. But
Oh, I think if it had been filmed, it would be the funniest thing that anybody has ever seen ever. But you're going to have to wait till next week. Ha
Exactly. Let's see. I have my seltzer. The last of these seltzers. What are you drinking?
I have a Stella. Just a beer.
Nice.
I'm not plugging them. Just cool. I am a beer drinker a lot of the time. Sometimes.
Beer's easy.
It's just so easy to grab out of the fridge, and I didn't have any seltzers, so this is what we had. So I wasn't about to stop at the store today.
No, we don't do that. How is your week? What's happening?
Oh, it's fair. This is a very stressful time of year at work, so that's why we're drinking. But it's all good. Looking forward to getting everything all set up and getting into a routine, getting back in the groove of things. So
It'll be nice.
it'll be good. And how's your week going?
It's good. I am figuring out how to edit this podcast, and it's been labor of love.
Thank you.
No, I actually really am enjoying it. But spoiler alert: I am not an editor. I don't know how to use editing software, so it's been interesting. Lots of trying and trying again, and I'm self-aware now. I say all the goddamn time. Do you know how many times I've had to cut out the word
I don't notice it when you speak, to be fair, but I'm also very aware of the number of times I say things like, literally, absolutely.
It's so many things like that where I will edit through an episode, then go back to listen. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought I cut all of the ums out.
They're everywhere.
They are, but no, it's a good week. I'm ready for the weekend. It's only Wednesday, but
Soon.
it's also already Wednesday. It's both.
Oh, you know what did just happen this week? I'm going to talk about it on this podcast
Good.
too.
Absolutely.
We already talked about it. Marvel's What If aired today, and it was the Captain Carter episode, and that made me happy. So that was a beautiful
I'm
thing to
glad.
wake up to.
I'm very excited to watch it. I've heard great things about it from you, which that's fair.
I mean, a biased opinion. That's a biased
Also,
review.
it's an opinion. I've never had your opinion steer me wrong though, so I trust it.
I appreciate that.
Of course.
It's a lot of fun, and I know when this comes out, this is old news, but back in August land, this was wonderful. So let's mark that.
We need to mark the good things in this 2021 year.
Here's the bad news. Now we get to the bad stuff, by which I mean
the
episode.
Yay! I don't want to.
So maybe you can take us through the title.
Yeah. So Episode 3, Snow Falls. We love a good pun.
You know what that reminds me
We,
of? Before you read the little Disney.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
What am I gonna say?
I have to assume you're going to say the fucking Let It Snow holiday.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Shut the fuck up, David.
I hated it, but also
It was very cute.
it was very cute. I wonder if they were in love in real life at that point.
I wish you would stop asking that question.
I will never stop asking that question ever.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
So, this is what Disney Plus has to say about this episode. Emma talks Mary Margaret into reading to an unidentified coma patient in the hospital. Prince Charming and Snow White meet up for the first time. That's it.
Okay. I mean,
I just realized why it's called Snow Falls, because she falls for Charming.
she also falls from a tree.
It's the dumbest thing.
I mean, as far as summaries go, that is probably the one of the more accurate ones. It hits the points.
Which tells you a lot about what doesn't happen in this episode.
Yeah, it feels like it's weird because it feels like nothing happens, but when you think about it, a lot of really important stuff happens. So it's very strange. But
Very true. Well, on that note, do you want to dive into all that does happen in this episode?
absolutely not. But here we are. No, I'm very excited to read this summary. It was fun to read and fun to write. So Snow Falls. Once again, we open up on our favorite dramatic little princeling, but this time, instead of being on the horse, he's in a carriage with perhaps one of the most unpleasant people in the world. She does look uncomfortable because all of her entire collar is just lined with feathers, and as somebody who had costumes that had feathers around the shoulders, I can tell you that was
No.
like the most uncomfortable situation I've ever, as a child, granted.
That
But
sounds horrible. I do not understand this show's obsession with feathers. We've had a feather centric outfit every episode.
real, I mean, it's true. And the weird part to me, particularly about her outfit, is nothing about the accessories of her outfit screams I should have white feathers sticking up from
No.
my collar, because all of like the thread and the beading and all of the glitz and glimmer of her this very pretty blue gown is all like gold. It's all so it's very off-putting. And I didn't like it.
It's not good.
But also she's just complaining and whining and saying she's seen better and just being a little negative Nancy. Except her name's Abigail, so awful Abigail? I don't
Yeah, it works.
going with that. And then, oh no, there's a tree in the middle of the road. So Charming has to hero. So he, goes and sees what the problem is. But oh no, it was cut down. It didn't just fall. It's an ambush. And so this
Oh no!
cloaked figure jumps out of nowhere and they grab a bag out of the carriage. Meanwhile, Abigail, after the figure has ridden away, is like, help me, help me. And it's like, you are safe, ma'am. No.
Glad she was really helpful and said something when the bandit appeared initially. That was
Which is fair. Like, that is a totally valid response to these things happening. But I feel like once you know they're gone and you are safe, you can maybe stop screaming, help me.
It's more of get them, stop them.
Right? So anyway, that was just very interesting to me. So jewels are gone. They're riding off and Charming hops on and he's like, gotta go fast. He just jumps off the horse and tackles the other horsemen and they roll to the ground and oh my god, it's a girl who promptly is like a woman and smacks him in the face, which he deserved. But really, this is Snow White. She is banditing. She is a bandit these days. She has just beamed him in the face with a rock. He's bleeding from the chin, but she's riding away with his jewels, and he swears that he will always find her, essentially.
Of course that motherfucker does.
So that's our meet cute.
True love.
Love.
Wow.
True love. So now we switch to Storybrooke, and Mary Margaret is on perhaps the world's most uncomfortable date, where she's just yammering on about not wanting 15 kids. But I think he wasn't listening to her.
No, it's hard to listen when you're checking out Ruby's ass.
So, but I'm like, so he wasn't listening to her as she was talking about her class. Where does she teach? Are you getting 15 students? That is lovely. That's a lovely ratio right there. But she's like, no, I don't want 15 kids. Absolutely not. No, I was talking about my students. And then, Whale is just staring like a skis at Ruby, just who is being Ruby. And I don't mean that in any sort of way. I mean, she's just physically existing as Ruby. And he's just like blatantly looking at her ass and not listening to his date. So I'm like, how the fuck did you get laid, sir? How did this end up happening?
You were cursed.
Apparently. So Mary Margaret is sad about this turn of events. Is Ruby, check please, very sadly and mopily. So I'm like, dude, if it's your first date and that's how he's choosing to behave, you should just be like, great, we're done here. I'm happy you were immediately like that.
It should have been, okay, I trust you can get the bill and you get up and leave.
Bye.
You take that free food and you leave.
Right now. Anyway, she's walking down the street and her cardigan is pulled around her body to show that she is so sad and so cold and so pure. And then she sees Emma, who's just sitting in her car looking at vacancy ads in the newspaper, but there's nothing for an apartment. And Mary Margaret checks on her and is like, you okay? And Emma's like, oh, this is far from the worst situation I've ever been in. Like, I can sleep rough in my car for a bit. But, Mary Margaret's like, you decided to stay for Henry. You can stay with me if you want. I've got an extra room. And Emma's like, I'm not the roommate type, which tells me that there is no way in hell this woman is a 28-year-old who has not figured out how to be the roommate type. I'm sorry. It's 2011. There was a recession. You've had some roommates.
Well, I think that's the weird thing about Emma. We are told that she didn't have a great upbringing, kind of always been alone. How did she afford her bomb-ass apartment in episode 1?
Apparently, bail bonds personing pays very well, which I know nothing about, so maybe it does pay very well. Anyway, Emma's like, no, we're not going to do the roommate thing. Also, I would like to put a pin in Mary Margaret's little, like, hey, come stay with me, I've got a spare bedroom. Because we've seen her apartment in later. I don't think there's a door except for the front door and the bathroom door.
No, there is a bed in the living room. It's like a studio.
So anyway, Emma's like, nah, I'm not into it. We flash to the next day. Mary Margaret is volunteering at the hospital. She's got the kids there, but it's not all of the kids. I could not make out if this was a field trip.
We're not 15 kids there.
Is it like a field trip? Is this an after school thing? How do you have time? Where are these people's parents? Who is supervising them? Because she's not. Some of the kids...
She doesn't pay attention.
Some of the kids were talking to a doctor, I noticed in the background, once I started, trying to work out the logistics. But then there were just children wandering. So I was very confused at what was occurring in this hospital.
It's not good.
Whatever it is, it's not good. So Henry is drawn to our John Doe, to our man in the glass box. We know him as Prince Charming, but he's John Doe here. Nobody knows who he is. And Henry's like,
oh no.
You sure you don't know him, to Mary Margaret? And she's like, nah, I don't know him. She's like, absolutely sure. I've never seen this man before in my life. I'm sorry to this man. Henry goes and finds Emma at his castle, and he's like, I found your father, which is a very disconcerting thing to hear from a child.
I hate that so much.
Just a very chill thing to say to a person. I found your long lost father. He says that Emma's dad is John Doe, and he knows this because there's a picture in the storybook, which I know you're coming back to later.
I have thoughts.
There's a picture in the storybook, and they look the same, and they even have a scar on their chin in the same place, which we know that our Prince Charming got that scar from Snow White beaming him in the face with a rock.
Wow, what a mark of true love. Every time she looks at him, she gets to be reminded of their first encounter and how much she loves him, I guess.
He tackled her to the ground one time.
Wow.
Off a horse. And nobody broke anything.
No.
And that's what's really important. So Henry insists to Emma that Mary Margaret has to read the storybook to John Doe because it's the only way to break the curse. And he's just like not gonna let it go because Henry is Henry. And finally Emma's like, fine, we'll go with your plan. And then immediately calls Mary Margaret and is like, look, we gotta lie to the child. We're gonna do his plan, and then we're gonna crush his dreams because it won't work.
It's the mall Santa. We're gonna pull his beard off in front of the child.
Yeah, Santa's not real, babe. Deal with it. But anyway, Mary Margaret thinks this is a good idea for some reason. What kind of educator are you? And
she's not one. That's what kind. She teaches birdhouses.
Right, of course, she's the birdhouse teacher. She agrees, and they're going to meet up at Granny's the next day so that Mary Margaret can report back that nothing changed. Dude's still in a coma. Go cry your sad, salty tears, Henry. Then she goes to read to him, which I'm like, why did we not just lie to the... Like, we're already okay with lying to the child. Why did we not just lie to the child and be like, I read to him, it didn't change?
No.
She is a woman of her word.
Mm-hmm. Remember, good. If you're good, you're always honest. This is hammered into us so much in the show.
Of course, only bad people lie, ever, which is weird because the good guys do a whole lot of lying.
You guys are some shady ass motherfuckers.
So Mary Margaret ends up going to the hospital, and she pulls out the book and she's reading the story that we're watching unfold. And, they're reading the story of Snow White and Prince Charming. But then all of a sudden, John Doe grabs her hand. I would scream bloody murder.
Oh, no. That's absolute no from me.
It is nighttime. It is dark outside. He has just jump scared her and grabbed her hand. I'd be running screaming. She goes running, but just to go get Dr. Rail because Storybrooke hospitals don't have call buttons, I guess?
Nope.
Call somebody. Oh my God, don't leave him. I mean, I'd be leaving him, but that's because I'd be afraid.
Because you have the correct reaction. It's abso-fucking-lutely not. I'm out of here.
So Mary Margaret goes sprinting. She goes and gets Dr. Whale, and when they come back, he's back to sleep. He's no change. And Whale is like, you know what? You just probably fell asleep and dozed off, and you dreamed it.
We love to see a gaslighter.
Such toxic masculinity on display.
You just described Whale in one sentence.
That is true, especially in these early seasons.
Oh, absolutely.
I say as if we see Whale at all in the later seasons.
After we see him in season 2, and then very rarely after that.
So true. He just pops in every once in a while when we need a hospital.
He was too busy doing iZombie shit at that point. He couldn't be bothered with Once Upon a Time.
Fair. You know what? That's fair. So he is like, nothing has changed, and go home, get some rest. But the minute she leaves, he calls Regina and tells her what has occurred and that Mary Margaret was here. And Regina looks like she is about to just crush the phone to bits in her bare hands, and I wish she had.
Her landline phone, which I think says a lot about this show, in just the time period of which it existed.
What a weird... I feel like 2011 is a weird
Mm-hmm.
liminal space in like phone technology because I think everybody still
Mm-hmm.
had a landline, but people were like starting to not use them.
Unless you're my parents, they will use their landline until they die.
Oh, you know.
Same number?
He's so cute. So then we get back to the enchanted forest, the fairy tale land that was, whatever you want to call it. And Snow White is sneaking out of this little hovel that she's built herself and she's gathering up her stuff. And then she like walks out and immediately just walks into a trap and she's sprung up into a tree.
Feel like if she's been on the road for how long now, she would know how to suss out a very basic trap.
I would think so, but clearly, no.
Hmm.
The answer is no there. Charming is like gloating, which I don't know why he's gloating because she was asleep. Could have just, like, I don't know, tackled her to the ground again, although that would be upsetting. But
He just learned how to set a trap and really wanted to do it.
listen, it was actually one of his merit badges for Boy Scouts. It's got to help somebody cross something. So,
He is a Boy Scout.
I mean, I think we've just described it in one sentence. But, he makes his little trap and he catches her and snaps her up and she's up in the tree and he's gloating and she's like, I don't want, what does it matter that I have your stuff? You're a prince. You've got all sorts of jewels and riches and whatever. And she also, whoops, sorry, I already sold it.
Oh, bye.
I need money. And he's like, nah, 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 gonna give me back. I need these. I need my jewels back. But, she's like, well, you're just a regular old Prince Charming. He's like, no, my name's James. And she's like, nah, we're gonna go with Charming.
You should write down James. It'll be important later.
Yeah, I feel this is important and think you should write it down. So he's going by James, and then he only cares about one piece of jewelry in the whole little satchel that was stolen because that was his mother's ring, and he was gonna give it to his fiance, but she stole it. So
You mean the nag with the bad attitude, and I think
right.
I could have said it better myself.
A surprisingly succinct description for someone who just kind of like looked from the top of a carriage and then rode off. So,
Right? She had maybe 5 seconds to analyze this person. Like, she looked at her and said, nag with a bad attitude.
listen, it's possible that Snow White is a Virgo and is just very judgmental.
I can see it. I can see Virgo Snow.
I say this with love. Anyway, so Snow's like, this is a marriage of convenience. Like, you are not in love. Nobody marries for true love. Finally, Charming is like, nah, look, I'm going to turn you over to the evil queen. Because I know there's a bounty on your head. Ha.
Yes.
Oh, no. And so, he has the sign that has been put up. And you made an excellent point. It's her wedding hair.
How do they know what she's going to wear to the wedding to the man she only just met?
It's really upsetting because we don't see her wear her hair like that in flashbacks that flashback to earlier than this.
No.
So, it's a lot. I feel like just going with the
A
hair,
lot to take in.
down would have been a safe bet, but okay.
Nope.
So,
You see, they used Rumple, and he could look into the future, so he was seeing.
like, one day she will wear this hair.
It looks stupid, so I want it to be on posters everywhere.
Anyway, Snow says, fine, whatever, I'll help you. Let's go. And, she gets cut down. And we're in Storybrooke where Emma, Mary Margaret, and Henry have gathered at Granny's diner where Mary Margaret just immediately spills the beans and ruins the plan and is like, he woke up! Okay.
Idiot. Maybe don't pander to the child with these fantasies. Maybe pull Emma aside and say, hey, true facts. Here's what happened.
What do you want to do here? This is your plan?
You keep claiming this is your child, which biologically fine. How do you want to handle?
How do you care to proceed?
Should we bring in, I don't know, Dr. Hopper and get his expertise on this? I don't know.
No. I have questions about the attire. Henry's in a sweater. I can't tell if it's his school uniform, but it looks like his school uniform.
I think it's supposed to be.
I don't know if he just dresses like that all the time or if it's his school uniform. Because if it's his school uniform, number one, how do you have time for breakfast meetings? Number two, what is Snow or Mary Margaret wearing to go teach? Because she seems to be in a just fully lace shirt that, as
Mhm.
far as I could tell, did not seem to really have a lining.
No, or that lining is also flesh tone.
Which also a weird choice. Very
For a teacher, a weird.
Yes, very 2011 choice. We were all about the lining being your skin tone so that it looked
So many dresses had that look going.
absolutely, but just a wild choice to teach in. Going back to the conversation and less about the clothing, Henry says, "You have to keep reading to him because that's super important and that's breaking the curse." And Mary Margaret immediately listens to the 10-year-old and is,
We should stop listening to Henry. We need to stop listening to him.
there is so much just following the directions of the 10-year-old. It's bonkers.
From episode 1, he has not had anyone say no to one of his demands yet.
But he says yes to Henry. That explains a lot about Henry.
It sure does.
So they go back to the hospital, but Graham is there and oh no, John Doe has gone missing. He's
No.
gone missing. And then Regina is also there because, of course, Regina is John Doe's emergency contact because
How fucking convenient.
nobody knows who his family is. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
knows who he is. So, and she is the one who found him. Fun fact.
Of
That's
course
some
she did.
fun little Storybrooke lore for you. Then Regina looks over at, Henry and is like, "You and I are having a conversation about your insubordination later. Do you know what insubordination means?" And Henry shakes his head and says no. And Regina says, "It means you're grounded," which is not what the word insubordination means.
No.
I know what she was going for, but just that is not the definition.
Nope.
Emma, being Emma, is like, "Hey, I'm a nosy little mouseketeer. How about I help find the patient?" And Regina is like, "Oh, absolutely not."
What you mean with her zero skills? And I mean, I guess technically she might have some tracking skills, but not in the wilderness. She has like computer tracking skills. She can find who used who'syourmama.com, and that's about where her skills
Right, I
end.
feel like her strengths lie in tracking down unknown people around the country, around the state, but she's not
Right.
a wilderness tracker.
No, she's not a Boy Scout. You gotta get. Ironically, the Boy Scout is the person missing.
We go back. Emma, of course, immediately is like, "Hey, you know what? I know you said no, but I say yes. So I'm going to do what I want."
Oh, there it is. That's how we know Henry's her son. There it is.
It's genetic. Graham is truly failing at his job as he's interrogating some hospital staff and looking at the wrong security footage. And Emma's like, "Hey, I've immediately clocked that this is the wrong security footage.
She's so good at what she does. Oh my god.
You need to look at the right security footage. That's how we're going to solve this problem, is you're going to look at the right security footage." They find the right tape. They're looking at the tape, and it turns out that John Doe just walked out the door by himself of his own volition through the woods door. We just haven't.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
The wood store.
The woods door. Every hospital must have a woods door. Why do you have a. I have so many thoughts about this door. I am so upset about this door in particular.
That's fair.
So many thoughts about how this hospital is run. I'm going to put a pin in it for later. So we're back in Fairy Tale, Enchanted Forest. Snow and Charming are montaging. They're taking a long rest and montaging from place to place so that we know that time has passed.
How nice of them.
Eventually, Charming notices that she's said she's not a jewelry person, but she's fiddling with this necklace. So he's like, "Hey,
How astute.
what's that? What's this whole thing about?" She says, "Don't worry about it." But, Charming's like, "I'm worried about it, and also I'm just gonna snatch it from you."
I'm nosy. Again, it's hereditary. This whole family is the same shit.
LOL, I do what I want. That is the Charmings. So,
Oh no.
turns out the necklace is full of fairy dust, but it's black dark fairy dust, and it is going to be used to turn, the queen into something harmless that Snow can easily destroy.
This seems really useful. This seems like a useful tool that we could have used later in the show, and yet we will never see it again.
Nope. It will never come up. It will never be explained away why there's no more of this magical substance. Nope. This is just the first
gone.
and last time we will see this. She goes on to say, everything the queen is saying about me is wrong. Those are lies. I, lived because the huntsman took pity on me, and I just want to escape to another realm. That's why I'm, trying to steal and get out. I just want to leave. Finally, they come to this stream. Snow asks, "Hey, can I get a drink? I'm thirsty." And Charming also is thirsty, so they're.
Do they not travel with like water packs or anything?
To me, it's more that he doesn't seem concerned about the security issues at all.
No, we trust her.
He bends down to get a drink and she's drinking, and it's kind of quiet moment, and then immediately Snow is just like, "LOL, into the river with you!" And he flounders a little bit, and I was confused about how deep the river was.
I have to assume not very, considering
Because it didn't look that deep. It didn't look that deep.
considering how quickly he comes back around. I don't think it was deep.
But then he was kind of splashing around like, "Oh no, I'm getting swept downriver a little bit."
He hasn't gotten his swimming badge yet. Be kind to him.
Oh, he needs swimming lessons. Okay, that's fair. Anyway, she takes off running, of course. He's preoccupied with floundering in the river. This time, she runs just right into the evil queen's guards. Just straight into them. And, oh no! She also does not have her fairy dust because Charming never gave it back, which she knew. So, I'm not entirely sure why.
She did not think this through.
No, not at all. It's a moment, but we're going to leave it right there on a cliffhanger because we're back at Storybrooke.
Oh boy.
Now, Graham and Emma and Mary Margaret are tracking, John Doe through the woods. Graham is surprisingly adept at tracking. In as much as anybody can be adept at anything on this show, the show tells us he's good at tracking. So therefore, he is good at tracking. Emma and Mary Margaret are having this heart-to-heart, and it turns out that, of course, Emma's tracking people and how her ability to find people is all stemming from one place. The hunt she's never, ever completed. She's never been able to find her parents. Of course, because foster child. And this is going to be part of our story.
Yeah.
These women just have heart-to-hearts real fast with each other.
They do.
I don't think they're just not the sort of people that do small talk, apparently.
Which is fair. I despise small talk. I recently learned just how much I absolutely hate small talk, so that's fair.
I'm no fan of small talk, but I feel like from day one, the first conversation we had, Mary Margaret was giving a monologue about the, you know, deeply seated issues that any child that's been adopted is going to have. A normal first interaction with the birth mother, and
Well,
also
to be fair, on the first date, she's talking about how many children she does or doesn't want.
she
So
may just not understand conversation, just period. And let's go for it.
fair.
It does make for some interesting conversations.
It does.
We end our little conversation. Feels bad. Everybody feels bad about it. And then I guess Henry's just out in the woods now. He's just here now. He snuck out. He's here
Sure.
now.
Again, he does what he wants. He's told grounded, he hears keep doing what I'm doing.
Grounded, and he's like, in the woods. I'm grounded in the woods. I'm gonna go to the woods. The fact, you know what? Here's the thing. The fact that there are not bars on his window at this point tells me that Regina's pretty chill. And then we're back in the forest, the enchanted one. We're back right where we left. Knight's getting ready to murder Snow. He's got a nice, like, smoky winter soldier eye going on. And I want to know if this is, like, part of the uniform that Regina requires, or if this is a personal choice that he is making. Love that for, it is camp. This makes me intimidating, you see?
Mm-hmm.
You see my face? See what's on my face?
No, it's perfect. But also, if it's his own choice, it's the maybe my boss will notice me and tell me I did good. I want her to notice.
Suddenly I have a whole backstory for this man.
Regina, do you see? I love him. I love him. I hope he's doing well.
I know he's not, because Charming immediately slays him with an arrow.
Oh no.
Poor Herbert.
Oh my god.
So nice to know you, Herbert. His name wasn't Herbert. I've just decided that it was.
I miss him already.
Charming takes down the guards, helps her out. Snow is running away, and then just kind of comes back. She's like, oh, I feel bad. That was bad, and I feel bad.
As she should.
She points out that, Charming has now saved her. He goes, well, it was the honorable thing to do. Being all flippant about it. But also, he still wants his jewels, so let's get my jewels back. A lot of talk of his jewels.
Family show.
No. It says, hey, the trolls I sold them to are just over yonder, so we can go get them. Back in Storybrooke now. We're flashing back and forth pretty quickly at this point. Henry is insisting that Mary Margaret needs to just stand still in the dark in the woods and let the coma patient find her, which is the start of a horror
Women, do not even just women, people, humans, do not stand in the middle of the woods at night. That is a bad choice.
I know she's not alone, but like, ugh.
No, we already know there's at least one wolf in Storybrooke.
Right. And later there will be a serial killer. So it's not in Storybrooke, it's in Hyperion Heights, but that's a whole nother story. You're gonna get murdered. Something will murder you in the woods at night. Stay out of the woods. If my favorite podcast, My Favorite Murder, has taught us anything, it's stay out of the woods.
Fair. Pro tip.
So stay out of the forest. But these are woods. Same difference.
It's the same.
Emma finally is like, Henry, go home.
Wow, look at her.
But Henry continues to Henry about.
She doesn't stop him. She's like, and I tried.
Yeah. Henrietta over there is just like, nah, my Henry senses are tingling.
Nope. Hate that.
So he sticks around because, again, no one says no to Henraldo. I'm just
Henraldo.
I'm just gonna give him a new name because he makes me every single time. Henbert over there just drives me nuts.
It's fair.
Absolutely driving me nuts this episode because not only does he keep doing all of this annoying I just do what I feel like things, he keeps proclaiming things in weird little whisper voices.
Yeah. No,
And I
thank you.
don't like it because I feel that it's some sort of omen of some sort. And I worry about everyone else.
Very ominous.
He's giving off some ominous vibes.
There's a prophecy here.
Yeah. Henry is just a lot this episode. So we're moving away from Henry, but Graham, interrupts Henry's Henrying, and he has found John Doe's little hospital bracelet tag thing,
Well, sure.
and it's got blood on it. Oh no, and that's never going to be explained. But also, he ripped out his own IVs, so I feel like it's a little explained.
Yeah. That's a weird detail for them to, like, fixate on. Huh.
Well, I know they're trying to make it spooky. He's bleeding, but also the man ripped out his own IVs. So I feel there will be some blood there. And he's been stumbling around the woods. And it's not like the thing is soaked,
No.
just a couple drops. Back in the enchanted forest again.
Oh,
We're at the
boy.
troll bridge.
Wow.
We have to ditch the horses because trolls don't like horses.
Well, the horses don't like the trolls, so good.
There. Anyway, they can't see. It's trolls are not allowed to even see horses.
Fair.
Why? I don't know.
Those fucking horses. The worst.
I mean, everyone knows of the atrocities committed in the horse versus troll war of 1532. Immediately, the minute they're on the troll bridge, the trolls are around them.
No. No, thank you.
Snow's trying to get the ring back, negotiate, figure it out. But the trolls are like, this is a setup. I got street smarts. This is a setup. We have to search Charming. And they grab him and they're, trying to search him for weapons or things they can take. But all they find is the necklace that Snow had. It's useless to them, at least.
Sure. Convenient.
But oh no, Charming, for whatever reason, is still carrying around the poster.
Huh. He wants to sleep with it under his pillow.
That was not where I was going with that. But it was on the same track.
I changed my mind halfway through because I didn't like the direction of my original sentiment.
Listen, he's in the woods. You gotta do what you gotta
We
do.
don't kink shame.
Nope. Especially not the Charming.
No.
They find the poster. The poster has the bounty on it. So now the trolls are all, ooh, Snow White.
Money, you say? Say more right now.
Money. And they're not very good at this whole. They outnumber these people.
Sure.
I think there's 3 or 4 of them.
There's
on
a
this
handful,
bridge.
yeah.
And there's only 2
humans.
of our protagoni.
Mm-hmm.
So protagonists. And yet, anytime they start focusing on one, they let the other one go.
Very kind of them.
I just feel perhaps we have enough hands we could keep a hold on both of them at the same time, but they don't. Charming dives, he grabs his sword, driving them back. Snow grabs the necklace and starts running again.
He's really good at just running the fuck away from a scene.
The number of times in this episode this woman just sprints away from Prince Charming.
To immediately turn around and come back.
Immediately. Because again, she's talking to him, she's running, she's sprinting, she's laughing, she's talking, she turns, he's not there.
Make sure he's with you before you just fucking haul ass.
Before you're just like, bye, see you later, my friend. Please, maybe don't die. Hope, but good luck. So she goes back, she turns around, she goes back, and she's got the fairy dust. She uses the fairy dust. She turned them all into cockroaches.
Gross. Disgusting.
Gross. I'm confused because we've got... I know there was a finite amount, and I know it was little, but it was enough to turn 3 trolls into cockroaches. Now, the math to me says there are 3 trolls on this bridge. I think one fell off at some point. So I think there were 4. Now there are 3.
I think you're right.
And they
Yeah.
all got Charming cornered.
Yeah.
I feel you only need to turn perhaps the one holding Charming down into a cockroach, and
Yeah.
then the 2 of you can probably fight back the other 2.
Yeah. Easily.
And you still have fairy dust. But
No, we don't plan ahead here.
Snow takes out all 3, and Charming, turns and says, "Oh, you saved my life." And she says, "Well, it was the honorable thing to
Ugh,
do," echoing back the same sentiment.
that's disgusting.
And that is where we're going to leave them for the moment. Go back to Storybrooke, where now we're following the stream and we found it's the toll bridge, but somebody very cleverly has graffitied a very small R between the T and the O. So it's the troll bridge.
It was Henry. You know it was Henry.
I hadn't thought about the fact that it could have been Henry.
It wouldn't have been Regina.
But to me, yes, now it is Henry. Henry snuck out and just wrote an R so there would be a troll bridge in this town. Anyway, he's right. John Doe is face down in the water underneath the troll bridge.
That's disturbing for a child to see.
Yeah, and it takes a while for them to be anybody to say, "Henry, turn around. Henry, don't look at this.
Henry, why are you here?
I understand, obviously you have an emergency on your hands. Everyone's going to attend to the emergency. But I feel 2 grown people probably could have lifted the man out of the water. And one of them could have gone to comfort the child, but all 3 of them lift him up.
You would think so.
Doesn't matter. Emma goes to comfort Henry. Snow immediately starts True Love's CPR, I guess I would call it.
Yeah, that is what it was.
Number 1, she does not check to see if he's breathing.
No, she just goes right in.
She goes right in for it, but she doesn't try to get any water out. She's just immediately into the CPR. And I would describe True Love's CPR as, I don't know, like 3 gentle taps on the chest.
With floppy noodle arms.
With floppy noodle arms, and then you make out with the patient.
Ooh, spicy.
Also you have to whisper very quietly, like, "Don't leave me."
That's good to know. I might need that someday.
Come back to me. So either way, it works.
Wow. 1 point for True Love CPR.
Either it's True Love's kiss or he didn't need CPR.
Yeesh.
They take him back to the hospital where, everybody's standing gathered outside of his little glass coffin room.
Mm-hmm.
And a blonde woman comes rushing in, and we know this as Abigail from earlier, back at the very beginning.
My favorite nag with a bad attitude.
Nag with a bad attitude is back, only now her name is Katherine.
She looks like a Catherine.
She does look like
I've never met a Catherine I like. I apologize if your name is Catherine.
I'm sure there are some very lovely Catherines out there.
Personally, I have never had the honor of meeting a good one. So if you're Catherine, please introduce yourself. I need to know a good Catherine. That is all I will say.
That is fair. We're all gathered outside the room. Catherine comes running in. Snow and Emma are, "Who is that?" And then from the shadows, just emerging from the shadows in a beautiful villain moment, we just hear Regina say, "His wife." Dun, dun, dun.
When I say I love that woman, I love her so much.
I just appreciate her sense of theatricality.
Oh, yes, absolutely yes.
That woman placed herself in the shadows and was waiting there.
No, it's like Maleficent and having Aurora underneath her dress, thinking, okay, it's gonna be great. They'll come in, they'll say, "Looking for her," and sweep my dress away, revealing the princess.
Truly a masterclass in theatricality and reveal. So I appreciate that about Regina as well. She very much loves a good entrance, a good reveal. Anyway, okay, going back. Regina emerges like the goddamn queen she is. and says, "This is Catherine Nolan because that man is David Nolan and they're married."
Wow.
Then we're going back for our very last visit to the Enchanted Forest this episode. Snow and Charming exchange golden rings, so, Snow gets her money, Charming gets his ring back, and Charming says, "Well, the ring's not your style." And I don't know what
Damn.
goes through Snow White's head. I don't understand this woman at all. She is a mystery to me because she goes, "Only one way to find out," and puts the ring on. It's bonkers. This is a bonkers thing
That
to
wouldn't
do.
be your immediate reaction. Oh, here's one way to find out.
She agrees, "Nope, not my style," except they're both gazing longingly at the ring on her finger, and it's
Oh,
very
it's on.
clearly her style. It's not on
Wow.
the right hand, but
No.
they part ways at this point. Charming offers her the jewels that are not the ring, and she says, "No, I don't need it."
Sure.
And, but if Charming, Charming says, "Well, if you ever need me," and she goes, "You'll always find me."
Oh no. These idiots.
So they leave, they're walking away from each other, and Snow turns and looks back longingly, and then continues to walk, and they've parted ways officially right now.
Sad.
We're back in Storybrooke for our very last little bit. Catherine comes out of the room. She seems very lovely. She's thanking everyone.
Yeah.
Like, she seems like a lovely person all around in Storybrooke, and nobody likes her. Everyone's
No.
just like,
Fuck
"Who is this
Catherine.
bitch?
Because they also haven't
What?
met a Catherine they like, and they're like, "Oh, this shady bitch."
What is wrong?" Immediately, everyone is super suspicious of her and is questioning her. She says that, I back when David disappeared, they were in a really rough spot. She basically told him, "Hey, if you don't want to be married, leave." They were having trouble. She said, "Get out." And then he left. So she just kind of assumed that he left. He left for
Sure.
town and he's not getting in contact with her.
Well,
Which,
naturally.
honestly, I would be really inclined to almost believe this whole story, hook, line, and sinker, if it was, he's been here for 4 months, where maybe you're thinking, "Oh, the fight is still so raw and we had so much anger that he just is not in contact with me." But this man has been in a coma for years.
Okay. And I'm kind of figuring this out. So the clock hasn't moved until
Mm-hmm.
suddenly. Time assumedly was stopped.
Right.
Has it been like a Groundhog Day situation where the same 6 months were playing on a loop, or the same chunk of time?
I don't know, but the thing that bothers me is that in the fiction of the story that Regina has created, David has been in a coma for as long as anybody essentially can remember.
Mastermind, wow.
So, which tells me that the fiction of the story is that even if they're replaying the same day over and over again, in the story, he's been in a coma for
Yeah,
years. It's been a really long time.
that's fair.
So it was very, I just, if it were, you know what, he's been in a coma for 3 weeks and he's been here the whole time, I'd be, "Oh, yeah, absolutely," because you just had this humongous fight and he stormed out. And sure, absolutely somebody could turn off their phone
Yeah.
and not pick up for you or
Oh, yeah.
leave, and get out of town. I mean, you can't leave Storybrooke, but in a normal situation.
Sure.
Absolutely. But to have your husband go completely off grid for months, if not years at a
Yikes.
time,
Yikes.
and not be worried and looking for him, that's odd. They find out David is fine physically, but oh no, he's got amnesia.
What?
Will says, you know what, he found the bridge because he was looking for something familiar. And
It was a very
Henry
romantic spot.
Henry swears up and down in other creepy whisper
No.
to Mary Margaret that don't believe anything. He was looking for someone. He was looking for Mary Margaret.
Uh-huh.
So he does his creepy little prophecy, I guess. Emma goes on to further antagonize Regina
So good.
by questioning why it took so long to find Catherine, and this is just like really convenient that we're just now finding Catherine. Why did this take so long? And turns out that the idea to look at the tapes had them looking at the security tapes for other days, and it apparently David's just been saying the name Catherine in his sleep a lot.
What the fuck?
I will come back to this.
Good.
In
Please
this
do.
nonsense hospital.
Good.
Regina says, hey, true love won in the end, and this couple now is going to be together forever thanks to you and Mary Margaret. Just to really turn that knife, just to twist it.
We'll ignore the fact that
Nice and in there.
they were having marriage issues before. Certainly now all will be well.
Certainly. Of course. Everyone leaves except for Mary Margaret continues to just kind of stare into the glass box at Catherine and David, who are hugging. David does not want to be hugging this woman at all.
Fair.
It is uncomfortable, and now I don't ever want to hug him because of how uncomfortable his hug made me. I now feel like he's a bad hugger.
That makes me sad. I want him to be a good hugger.
Maybe he is when he's hugging somebody he would like to be hugging. Mary Margaret's just kind of looking down at her ring at this point, and it's the ring that was from Charming's mom that we've been seeing.
Of course it was.
All throughout the episode in the Enchanted Forest. And we end, finally, at Mary Margaret's apartment, her loft, her studio, her nonsense apartment. She's sitting on her stairs, looking at the ring. There's a knock at the door. We find out it's Emma!
Wow.
Who has decided to come and take up the offer of a spare room.
Wow, she is a roommates person.
She is suddenly a roommates person. And that is where our episode ends.
Brava. What good summation skills.
Thank you. It was a time. It's a time.
Wow. Well.
There's some stuff to unpack.
In case you didn't realize, I get angry about Catherine.
Did you?
A little. Okay. No. My problem is, you have Abigail. She's a bitch. Like, she seems so wildly unlikable.
Correct.
Then and so far, everyone's dual personalities, I guess, Storybrooke, Enchanted Forest, are similar.
Yeah.
More or less.
Essentially.
Except for Abigail and Catherine.
True. Mary Margaret, I would argue.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
But other than that, other than those two, everyone seems to be very much the same person.
Exactly. And I think the hard thing is this first episode with Abigail, we're told, oh, she's grumpy, she's angry, she doesn't want to be getting married, she is stuck up.
Right.
We find out later she's just in love with someone else and is not actually a brat.
Right.
So I don't know why they're painting her as this villain character, or why she's acting villainous.
Because we didn't have this plan.
I know that. But it makes me angry.
They also must have, because we addressed some of this stuff in this episode, or in this season, right?
I think so. And I think so that frustrates me in itself.
That's fair.
Then there's the Catherine of it all. I just need to understand, was Catherine in Storybrooke all along, or is this like an NPC situation? Like, does Regina have like a back pocket full of residents of Fairy Tale Land, Enchanted Forest, that she doesn't think she will need, but can pull out and breathe false memories into, should the need arise?
Are you asking if this is the Hex?
Yes! That is exactly what I'm asking.
The closer you get to the town line, the less people move because she doesn't have control.
No, that's how it feels. It's the
True.
no one has seen Catherine.
Correct.
So did she just go, oh shit, they're getting somewhere. I need to go create someone?
Yeah, like it would have been even nice if we had a run-in at Granny's or something in the first
Right?
couple episodes. Even just if she were like getting coffee at the same time as Mary Margaret or something.
Exactly. And
So we would have seen her.
right? And I think it's even more confusing is right now, Storybrooke, Catherine is mostly likable. They're going to change that real quick.
It's so true.
But they're also painting her as, oh, this is going to be Regina's confidant. She's going to genuinely care for this person.
Yes.
I don't know from a viewer standpoint how I'm meant to feel about Abigail/Catherine at all.
And then the weird part is we're going to go back to Catherine as a good person eventually.
Yes.
She's gonna get really, really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But then you gotta feel kind of bad for her
And
because
then she wants to go to like law school or some shit. It's like, okay, she's like a professional woman. We support that.
yeah, well, and her husband's having an open affair behind her back.
No, we don't talk about that.
But also, then even when she kind of comes back for a little bit post the murder mystery of it all, she lets David go and becomes a very
Right?
like understanding person. So yeah, she's an interesting person.
It's very weird.
She is baffling.
She is. And it only gets more confusing. Like, the fact that she almost guilts David in future episodes for not remembering.
True.
That's bonkers.
So true. Yes, she just.
The man has amnesia. Ma'am.
Remember things faster.
Apparently. I mean, yeah, it would suck if your partner remembered everyone else but you. That would absolutely suck. You don't guilt them for it.
No.
But yeah.
No.
Catherine, it will not be the last time I get angry about her.
And that is fair.
I feel like you had a thought or 500 on the hospital, and I would like to hear more about it.
I have many thoughts.
Oh boy.
About the hospital. Number one. We went. Most of them I did touch on in the summary, but number one, what is this program they're running? Is it an after-school program? Who is watching the children? Why are they here? What are they doing? I'm very confused because I think the idea is, they're like like sunshine. They come in, they visit, which is fine, but they don't seem to be very closely monitored or supervised. And these are 10-year-olds.
No.
I do feel that perhaps children should not be, alone in a room with a coma patient.
What?
Or that the teacher should not be just going and talking in a room with one kid and not keeping an eye on her other kids.
No, favoritism is fine.
Oh, sure. Awesome. So that's my first qualm about the hospital.
That's a fair one. I personally like that they have like Goodwill soon in the ward, which is fine. Except if you are in fact terminally ill, that's like a thanks, I won't.
Will not. I absolutely can't. It is a choice that is being made.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to move on from that point
Uh-huh.
to why do we have a door into the woods?
Oh,
Hospital.
sometimes when you're very sick, you just need to go out into nature. In a door that's accessible by anyone.
For a good woods wander. Doesn't set off emergency alarms.
No. This is Storybrooke. We don't have that shit.
We didn't build like a nice patio where people could sit. We didn't build a fence so they can't leave. It's a hospital, so you have to assume that they would have to be taking care of like people with dementia.
You would think.
Things that might make a person not know where they are. which means that this place needs to be secure.
Nah,
Like, no,
woods.
we just have a nice little door that just opens into the woods.
I hate
It
it.
gives me a headache. It gives me a headache to think about. The logistical nightmare.
Fine, we know that Sleepy, whatever his cursed name is, falls asleep while being a security guard. But there should still be locks or alarms at the very minimum.
Just think that the door that just kind of opens up into the woods should be alarmed. I don't think all of your doors need to be alarmed at all times.
Maybe the shady one that goes into a labyrinth. You might
Right, you might want to consider having an alarm on that door.
just the one.
Just the one that provides an escape route.
I think that's
Also,
fair.
what if you have to treat somebody who, like, a dangerous criminal? I recognize this is a cursed town. I recognize that we're not really dealing with
Regina
this
should
level
have
of
done better at making the experience immersive and accurate.
just upset about it. It's not okay.
I'm sorry, you're telling me Regina Mills, who's over here with her, like, okay, I want birch trees on the walls, and I want, like, that floral pattern on the curtains, I want this and that, didn't have the foresight to be like, oh yeah, the hospital should actually look legit. And I recognize she was not anticipating outsiders. But she seems like someone who likes to have things done well.
She is a detail-oriented person, and I just feel that not having a fence around your hospital is perhaps a detail that is missing.
Agreed.
And then finally, and this lends into your count actually.
Oh.
But okay, so I need everyone to know that I am tented. I have steepled my fingers. I need you to know that I am like evil masterminding this at
It's
this
true.
moment. I need to talk about this.
Okay, I'm listening.
We are a hospital, correct? We can all agree that this is a hospital.
This is a hospital.
Nurses and doctors, very intelligent people. We can all agree this.
Right.
They work very hard. They go to a lot of school.
Mhm.
Either no one thought to check the security camera and like see. So either they're lying about because people do it's a hospital. There are nightly rounds, correct?
Oh yeah, in theory.
In theory, someone is checking on patients all night. All night. Either the nurses did not catch that this man is speaking in his sleep
The
and
fuck?
saying a name over and over again, or someone's lying.
To Emma's face?
And
That wouldn't work. If they were lying, she would know.
therein lies the problem.
Oh,
Because
God.
either this is the most incompetent hospital staff in the entire world because no one noticed a man who has been sleep talking, and it's specifically stated a bunch.
Yeah.
Like he's been doing it a lot in his sleep, which we can pretty much be guaranteed this is a lie. Right?
Has to be.
We know that David is not pining after Catherine and therefore would not have been saying Catherine's name.
So we agree it's a lie and it's a strike
So
against
it's a
Emma.
lie. It has been said, she said it, Regina said it to Emma's face. She looked her in the eyes and lied to her.
It said this is a good thing, and Emma was like, all right.
Right?
Okay, so that's one against Emma. I will accept that.
Now, I will give that Emma is suspicious this whole time.
Sure.
And does not.
But she could have been like, show me the cameras. Show me the footage.
Right? Show me the footage. Why is she not pressing on these things? She doesn't call her out. She doesn't say it's a lie. Even though she's got this weird, stupid superpower that supposedly works.
No, it's not. The plot doesn't need it right now.
The plot needs her to not do that. So, of course, it's turned off right now.
Oh, I'm mad.
Yeah, that one got me
Oh.
all feisty.
Oh,
Feisty.
no.
It was
Oh.
certainly a choice.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bone to pick with the storybook. Because,
This is my favorite rant. I'm
Oh.
so excited.
Okay, I don't claim to be an illustrator or an artist at all. But I can recognize good art. I love looking at fan art where it's very clearly a depiction of someone. Love it. in the goddamn fuck is Henry looking through this book with its terrible, terrible illustrations and going, yes, that's Mary Margaret. Yes, that's Emma as a baby. Like, that does, like,
It's so true.
he's going through, and first of all, they must have commissioned like 17 artists for this storybook. None of the
Very
pictures
true. Match?
are the same. No, but it's one of those things where it's like, if by they look similar you mean they both have black hair, then yeah. Snow looks like Mary Margaret except for she has a poodle for a hair and your teacher has buzzed hair. Like pixie cut hair.
Yeah.
And there's no detailed facial expressions.
Well, and the thing that drives me nuts about it is I have seen some really awesome fan art in the past where the artist chooses not to really do facial features.
Yeah, like
it's like you get like
minimalist.
a little you get like a little nose or a mouth, and that's kind of it, and some brows.
But it's done so
But you
well.
know who it is.
Right? And there's one exception to this rule. It's Jefferson. Because I credit that only to Sebastian Stan because he makes so many fucking weird faces as Jefferson. It's impossible not to know.
I'm so excited to get to Jefferson.
It's so good.
And just boop.
He has a very boop. That's all you need to know.
See if you can guess what that means.
But please let us know if you know what that means.
I'll be impressed.
I will be shocked if anyone does. So fine, I can understand if Henry's looking at this book and be like, oh man, this Mad Hatter motherfucker looks a lot like Jefferson. But you cannot tell me he's sitting here looking through these shitty drawings and going, that's my teacher. That's John Doe. And I'm sorry, the picture of Charming looks more like Dr. Whale. And that would have been a very different story. Imagine Henry running up to Emma. I found your father. It's Dr. Whale. I don't know. The storybook bothers me. Here's the other thing. When you're looking through a good picture book, the pictures correlate to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And every so often the show does this corny thing where it will freeze the frame and zoom out and it's part of the book, but it's always innocuous scenes. Like, you can't even see their face.
Well, it's because, and they end on, obviously, because they're ending on a cut. They're ending on a cut of a scene.
Yes.
They're ending on the very last moment of that scene, which is not when something exciting is happening because we're leaving that moment.
No, it's not the climactic moment. It's not like, for example, instead of the moment where these characters are kissing, it's like the moment where they're like pulling away and looking over their shoulder, and it's like,
right.
Okay,
or
what?
I think about the if you were like to transition from the troll bridge.
Sure.
That transition would not be them fighting on the troll bridge, which would be what that picture would be of. It would be...
That would be the moment
right.
drawn
or
out.
It maybe might be them walking, like somebody's truly the moment a foot stomps on one of the cockroaches. But that's not where they stopped either. They kept walking.
No.
So, and that's where it would have ended.
God,
like, it just would have been them walking away from the troll bridge. What kind of picture is that?
Like, what a boring storybook that would be for a child to read.
Listen, it's
like,
gotta be.
Oh, it just doesn't get better.
No. And speaking about the troll bridge...
Oh.
I would like to talk about these trolls.
Go on. I would love to hear about them.
And their prostheses.
Oh, that's the worst word I've heard today.
Okay, and I mean truly no disrespect to anyone on visual effects, to makeup artists.
No.
Nothing about that. Because I know that these people are working on a budget and they are working on a time crunch. So this is not meant to be any sort of slight at anyone who was involved. But no one thought about the anatomy of these trolls. And nobody thought about how this would look on camera. Because all of the trolls have these very, very massive, lower jaws. And they've all got teeth that stick out of their mouths. And the thing is, that the way their mouths are structured, number one, but the thing is that it's so massive. Number one, we can't see them move at all, which is weird
No.
because we see them forming speech sounds, but their mouth is
Mm-hmm.
not, the top of their mouth's
Mm-hmm.
moving, but the bottom of their mouth's
No.
not.
You just kind of
Jiggle.
vibrate a little bit. Yes.
But number two, the way their mouths are structured, they should not be able to make the sounds that they are making the way they're making them. Because the way their jaws are structured and their teeth are sticking out, they should have trouble on certain sounds because
a lot of sounds.
all of that would impair anything that bites your lip. So your F sound would be impaired. It would mess with your any sounds that stop and you hum, because your teeth are there and your lips are out there. So anything that has to do, like any of the letters sounds that are formed with your lips are super impaired and they shouldn't sound like they sound. And that annoys me.
Oh. That's annoying.
I get it.
I think
get it.
that's
Nobody's thinking about that because you're on a time crunch and you just got to get it done. But somebody maybe could have nixed, I don't know, just even how big the jaws
they're
are.
massive. We never see trolls again either. So maybe they did realize, wait a sec.
Also, it looks like Calabar and Calabar's Revenge from I think that's who I'm thinking of. I know I'm thinking of somebody from the Halloween Town franchise.
No, I think you're right, but I also don't know the ones other than the first one very well.
I know the first one really well, and I know Halloween Town High really well.
Hi, yep.
Middle ones are a little shakier. But yeah.
Yeah. I have a few thoughts on Mary Margaret. Just these are slight, less of a rant and more of a Later in the show, like season 2, we are told, hey, Mary Margaret is the epitome of a good person. She's good, she's pure.
Right.
She's done no wrong. This woman had fairy dust that she was going to turn the evil queen into a bug and kill her.
And then she does use it on trolls.
Yeah, no, right off the bat, they're telling us, oh, she's a badass and doesn't give a shit. She will kill to self-preserve, like, to persevere and to preserve her own life, she will...
Right.
She will murder. It's not, like, vindictive and evil, but she will kill.
Right. It's not the case in season 2.
No, in season 1, I mean, this episode, Charming's even, like, no thoughts on it. Like, all right, yeah, you gotta kill. Like, what did you do to make her mad? Is it true? And she's like, yeah, it's all true. Like, I ruined her. I ruined everything. It's true. And he's like, wow. So you gotta kill her. Interesting. No.
Sounds bad. Oh well.
No comment on it. But later no, you can't kill Cora. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. It'll darken your heart. Sir, her heart is already darkened.
Sir, you stepped on a bug. You stepped on a troll bug. Someone stepped on a troll bug.
Yeah. And it just... I don't have a problem with her having to kill to stay alive. That's fine.
Right.
It's the painting it later down the line of, oh, she has a pure heart, has done nothing wrong. It's such a fall from grace when she kills Cora. No.
I mean, and it's...
She's also an adulteress at this point, so, like, get all the way the fuck back.
Get out of here. Right? I mean, and there's parts of it that I understand. I really appreciate the way that, once she does murder Cora, I really appreciate the, like, struggle of, this is truly my responsibility.
Yeah.
And this was a murder that was committed not to preserve myself and not for my real family, but
yeah.
So on that front, I really liked that part. But I mean, she sure has done a lot of stuff that you would think would like put some dark spots on there.
You would think. But yeah, That's on Mary Margaret. Family tree, where
So at this point, we didn't really get any confirmed additions to the family
Oh.
tree.
do we count Catherine? Because in Storybrooke,
That's
they
my
were
question. I hesitate
because we know in the
to
Enchanted Forest they do not get married.
I hesitate to put her on the family tree for this reason because there's no official like marriage there.
Yeah,
Um
I
and
think she's.
our only union is a curse union.
Yeah, I think it
So she's
might.
going on the fuck
I was gonna
fern.
say it earns her a place on the fuck fern at least. So good on her.
Correct. So we do get to put Catherine on the fuck fern
Oh.
with David slash Charming.
Oh no.
So he's our first person with multiple connections.
Oh no.
Check those out on our socials.
Uh-huh.
We'll have a growing
Visual, it's terrible.
visual of it. It's a mess.
Bean count, still nothing. Dark curse, we still just have the one. Very simple. Now the light count is where it gets interesting. We officially have crossed the threshold of batting 50-50. She is now not. She still has the 2 successes. We added 2 fails in today's episode. We had the one you mentioned.
Okay, so
with Regina just straight up saying, "Oh, he was saying her name in his sleep. We didn't hear." And the other is Henry going, "I found your father in this book. Here he is. He's John Doe. He's Prince Charming. Here he is." By Henry's definition of believing, makes it real and how it's worked in episode 1.
Right.
Emma should be sitting here going, "Holy shit, that's my dad." She's not.
She really is not. So
she's 2 for 5. Like she's gotten 2 right.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry, 4. I can't count 2 out of 4.
2 out of 4. Yeah, so
She has failed 4 times now. Only succeeded twice.
Okay, so she's at 4 out of 6 fails.
Yes.
So that's a 2/3 fail rate.
I guess that's how I should be like marking this down.
Well, as we get more failures, which we will, or any instances where it should be operating or does operate, I feel like it's a good idea to just kind of keep track of how many total. And
I agree.
Just so that it's so we don't have to add the numbers 17 and 92.
I don't do math
for successes and fails.
No, that's it.
That is it. That was a lot.
It was a bad time.
It was a bad time.
Can't wait to do it again.
Not at all. I hope.
And the week can only go up. The week will only go up.
I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week.
Absolutely.
Like you said, it can only go up from here.
Absolutely.
So have a wonderful week, everyone. Don't forget, come check us out on our socials.
Yes, we will see you there. We'll see you next week.
And
bye.
Bye.